Hey there, how you doing? It's your friend Phil, Project Management Trainer and Coach. Welcome to 40 Days to PMP and CAPM Exam Success. Today we're going to be talking about a process in time management known as Estimate Activity Resources. Now, as the name implies, it's all about estimating resources needed for the project. And this is the only place in the PMBOK Guide where resources are explicitly mentioned as either equipment, material, resources, supplies, what have you. This is where you estimate how many of these you need on a project. Now, this will change in future editions of the PMBOK Guide, but right now this is where it is in time management, estimate activity resources. How do you estimate the resources you need on the project? Well, first of all, you need to know the project requirements. You need to know what's in the contract. If there are any specific dates that you need to meet, you need to have this in mind. For that reason, when you tackle estimate activity resources, don't think of time management in a linear fashion, as in plan schedule management, define activity, sequence activities, estimate activity resources, estimate activity durations, develop schedule, and it just goes straight like that. No, it doesn't. There could be a lot of interaction between time management processes within time management. So sequence activities, estimate activity resources, estimate activity durations. You may have to do this in a cyclical fashion, going through them over and over again until you have satisfied all the requirements in terms of the timing, in terms of the schedule. And there's a little bit of give and take here. You know, depending on what the schedule is like, the resource requirements could be altered as a result of the timing that things must occur, timing for things coming into the project as mandatory dependencies and so on. Okay. Also, pricing could also have a big part to play. Think about it. If you have a great resource that can do something in, say, 2 days, and you have another resource who can do it in 4 days, 2 days is attractive in terms of schedule, but in terms of cost, it may not be attractive. So you might want to go with the 4 days because of pricing. All of these need to be considered, and for that reason, you cannot just estimate activity resources once on every project without there being some sort of cyclical way of doing it, going round and round till you get to the point of satisfaction in terms of cost, in terms of schedule, in terms of requirements. So when you think about the resources, think about the resource requirements for the project in terms of the resource type and the resource quantity. We're not just thinking about how many resources, we're also thinking about the type. We could also here be thinking about the quality of the resources you're getting. Yeah, you're getting a very cheap resource, but it's going to take longer, so on and so forth. One of the big tools and techniques that's used here is bottom-up estimating. This is where you would decompose an activity or task down to even lower levels to get a better idea of what exactly is needed for a particular task, also called activity, on a project. So when you think about estimating activity resources, think about bottom-up, and also think about getting a resource breakdown structure as an output. A resource breakdown structure breaks down resources into categories on the project. It breaks it down into, for example, human, equipment, and material. That's the easiest one. But you could also have subcategories within human, equipment, and material. You might want to take a look at your study guide and the PMBOK Guide to see examples of these. Okay. What do you expect on the exam as far as estimate activity resources is concerned? I expect them to test you a little bit more on the tools and techniques, and also the process flow and the interaction among processes. Okay. Well, that's it for today's video. Be sure to look down, answer those open-ended questions, Make sure you take a look at those ITTOs that I call out for you to know at the end of this. And make sure you study the area in the PMBOK Guide. When I say study the area, don't just read it, but also open up the PMBOK Guide to the page where you have the data flow diagram for estimate activity resources. And you'll get more bang for your buck out of that. Take care and speak to you tomorrow.